Welcome back to the Buds in the Box podcast. I'm your host, Eric Fogarty, and I'm joined with my two co-hosts, Jude, Rondina, and Michael Feldbloom. What's up today, boys?
Hey boys, how you doing?
Not much. How are you, Eric?
Thank you, Michael, for asking. This is like the third episode in a row you've asked me. I'm so happy
Oh my
because
god.
the Leafs won 4-0, I believe was the final score. And
Eric was cheering for Edmonton, but
no, I wasn't.
yes, you were.
No, okay. But the Leafs, maybe they don't need as many points as Edmonton does. Edmonton needs to get some wins.
I thought the Leafs were struggling though.
Okay, you know what? We're gonna get into that later. I wrote it down. We're gonna get into that later.
I wrote stuff down too.
Okay, good for you.
Yeah, so we'll go off
so-
mine too.
Wait. I had some
Oh,
opening.
he's
statements,
writing
though.
something down.
No, continue.
Okay, I
I'm
had
just
opening
touching up on my
statements.
points.
So obviously before the game, we found out that Matthews was out until I believe the 31st. Is that correct? I'm
The
yeah.
first, March 1st.
March 1st. Sorry, my
There's
bad.
no 31st of February, buddy.
Even more my bad. Okay. So with the absence of Matthews, I had two questions before, actually kind of three questions. So who would step up in Matthews' place? And Marner, he's been good consistently, so we don't have to look at Marner, but we're looking at Tavares and Nylander. And then the second question, kind of in like it's two questions in one, but how does Jack Campbell play and how does the lines look? And the thing I told Felly before the podcast and even before the game, I was kind of nervous that Sheldon Keefe wasn't gonna put lines together that had good chemistry and they weren't gonna perform well. And I was completely wrong. All four lines played a very well game. A
Well,
very good game.
I talked to Eric. We were talking just before the game started on FaceTime, and I think our main topic of conversation when we were talking about the Leafs game was Tavares has to step up, and he did.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's exactly what we were saying. Is he's the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs? He's the captain for a reason. The star centerman isn't there. Who has to step up? Tavares does. He has to, and he did.
Yep. And that line was real good. Marner, Thornton, and Tavares, really good line.
Mm-hmm.
So no complaints there. And then we get into the first period. So the first period, the first thing I wrote down was Campbell was looking sharp. That was definitely a theme throughout the game.
Yes.
And the Leafs were even giving up like chances to the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah,
right
so
off the
many
bat.
giveaways that period and so many just lockdown saves that we needed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Leafs doing a good job. Oh yeah, the other thing that the Leafs did really well was containing McDavid. I
Mhm.
kind of want to get into this now just because I feel like I'm going to forget after. But we were
Go
having
ahead.
a little dispute before saying like, oh, who would you rather have in a matchup? The Montreal Canadiens or the Edmonton Oilers for the Leafs in the first round? And I said I'd rather have the Montreal Canadiens, right? The reason is because McDavid is so unpredictable. And after McDavid goes pointless in the season, so there's 4 games he went pointless. And after every single one of those games, he at least got a point. But these are 2 examples of what McDavid does after he goes pointless. And the Leafs are playing the Oilers on Monday night. So this was McDavid's by far worst game. He was -3. He had no points and 20 minutes of ice time. So the last time he was pointless was against Calgary. The next game, he had 3 goals and 2 assists for 5 points. And then in the first game of the season, he went pointless against Vancouver. Next game, 3 goals, 1 assist. That just shows the inconsistencies of McDavid.
All right.
That's my point.
All right. So if we're getting into this, then first of all, your one point about I say the Leafs. First of all, my point is that the Leafs would be way better off playing Edmonton in a playoff series. First point is the last 8 games they played Edmonton, they're 7-0-1. That right there should already tell you that it's a good matchup for them. I don't know. Anyways, second of all, just to rebuttal your point.
Just to interrupt you for a second. By the way, this was Mike Smith's first loss of the season.
And look who it's to. Anyway, to rebuttal your basically only point, McDavid is one player. One player can't win a game, let alone a playoff series. Okay? It's just how it is. Nobody. Not Gretzky couldn't do that. Gretzky can't win a playoff series by himself. He had other guys around him. It's just you can't count on that one guy. I would rather, even if the Oilers had 2 McDavids on the ice at all times, I would still rather take them in a playoff series than Montreal. Montreal's just harder hitting, harder working, better defensively than Edmonton is.
Well, to expand off that, like the first question or comment that sparked this was McDavid and his, like, how we locked him down in that first period. And I just got to say, it was almost like it was man to man. And I don't know, I just saw, as fast as McDavid is, and as Tavares doesn't have that speed, for some reason, whenever you just saw McDavid, like there'd be those turnovers and stuff like that, but I'd always see Tavares trailing. He'd always be like McDavid would have to check all the time, make sure that Tavares is not there. He was putting good pressure on him, making sure that he had no time and space, which McDavid is great with.
Yeah, and
the thing is, McDavid's really fast. He is. He's extremely fast, fastest player in the NHL. Like, supposedly he is, but he's people think of him as almost like non-human sometimes, and you have to remember that he's a human. He has off games. He has days where I'm sure his legs are more tired. Today it looked like that.
Yeah.
And even on his best days, there are guys in the NHL that can keep up with him, or good defensemen like TJ Brody that can poke the puck off him like he did today. There's just always, obviously he's the best player in the world. There's no question. But
best offensive player in the world.
I think he's the best player in the world, like hands down. But that's the thing. Like he's a human. He bring him down to earth. Like a lot of people talk about him like he's literally not human, and sometimes it looks like he isn't. But I feel like we have to normalize that McDavid is still just he's a hockey player and he's better than a lot of guys, but he's not always going to be better than like other guys on the ice at the same time as him. So
yeah,
there's 5 other guys also.
That's exactly it.
Yeah. McDavid, I think they held him to 1 shot, which I mean is amazing.
I mean, it hurts for my fantasy, but I'm defense.
Yeah,
Jude got the first overall pick.
Yeah.
So I chose Zaitsev.
Nikita.
Good choice. I just wanted to say one thing about McDavid, just to close on this topic. I think the Leafs exposed his like defensive capabilities, right? Because I looked at his plus minus, and he's like an even guy, right? He scores as many goals as he gives up, but tonight he was -3, which I think it says a lot, because Leafs only scored 4 goals and he was on for 3 of them, right? And 5-on-5, he's not a good defender at all. And when he played against one of the best offensives in the league, if he's not producing anything, he's giving it up. So that's his.
I mean, yeah, and just to go back to the playoff series, the saying, defense wins championships. That's technically a basketball thing, kinda, but
no, I wouldn't say it's just for basketball.
I didn't say that was just for basketball. I said it's usually said in basketball. You don't hear it too much in hockey, but it's true. Like that's why I say that a playoff series versus Edmonton is good for the Leafs, because when you look at Edmonton's defensive stats, they're bottom of the league for everything.
Yeah,
they're 20 and below for everything. So that's why I think, that. So
I said my point. You said your point. You guys can comment. You guys decide who the Leafs would rather play. Anyway, moving on into the game. The next thing I noted was Nylander, Kirford, and Barabanov. They were a line, and they looked, even though they didn't really produce anything as a line, they were
hardworking.
Yes, very
well.
hard.
Yeah, those were Kerfoot again. He doesn't get enough recognition, but he's good every game, it seems like. So
yeah,
he stands out if you watch him. Pardon?
I said Tavares is playing well, and his play has just gone underrated, because everyone, like the Toronto media, is focused on points. Austin Matthews getting over a point per game. Well, Tavares is still playing well.
He still has a point a game,
Yeah,
just about, doesn't he?
yeah,
Near
just
that.
almost. So I mean, I think it's underrated because
Yeah.
it's not just points that makes you a good player.
Well,
So,
also
Mhm.
you look at Matthews and Marner, and they're obviously like overshadowing everyone else. So, and
Yeah.
and if you're not up there in those top 4 players, like they are the top 4 players.
That's the thing.
Exactly.
If
So
if you put Tavares on any other team, he's easily the first line center, best
yeah,
player on the
yeah,
team.
exactly.
yeah,
He's
he was
just
on the
getting
Islanders.
Yeah,
exactly. But and if you put him on any team other than the Oilers right now, the Oilers or the Leafs, Tavares is the number one center, and he's the best player on the team. I
Yeah.
think
I'd
of the best
say
players on the team.
maybe like a few exceptions, like
A few
Stamkos
exceptions,
or
you get like the Bruins or like
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay or like even New York. It's debatable that Panarin might be better, but like you know what I mean. Like on most other teams in the NHL right now at this moment, he would be the first line center and he'd be the top player on the team more than likely.
For sure.
So.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Wow. We've literally gone for about 10 minutes and we haven't even gotten to any goals yet. But that was the next one I had was the first goal of the game, 15 minutes in, Nylander from Marner and Tavares. I feel
Power
like
play.
yeah, power play. It was a great play, and it just shows us that these guys can step up. And we don't need Austin Matthews, but it's good to have him on the team.
Obviously amazing to have him on the team,
Of
but
course.
you could see that they can do it without him, obviously. And it was good of for Nylander to step up there and basically score the goal that Matthews
Yeah.
would have scored. And it kind of, brings a little bit of light to Matthews. Obviously, Matthews is an unbelievable player and talented goal scorer, but you can see that just on that Nylander goal today, you could see that most of the work is done by Marner. It just stands out a bit more when it's not Matthews finishing it, because you could see that Marner takes it around the net and he finds the open guy. And when you look at Matthews' goals, most of them are like that.
Yeah, Matthews doesn't have 18 goals this season without Marner.
If it's not Marner, yeah, completely. Like that's completely true.
Yeah.
So, as much as
But
it sucks
also,
to say
like
that,
a thing that stands out to me. Yeah. But a thing that stands out to me is the New York Islanders. Am I delayed?
Yeah, you were really
Yeah.
delayed. Or keep
It's
going.
my AirPods. It's my AirPods.
Oh, okay. No, okay.
All right. Are you good to talk?
a thing that stands out to me is that the New York Islanders with Tavares and then without. So they went from one of those scary teams, you didn't really want to play against because they had Tavares, Barzell, that all those line combinations, and then Tavares leaves, and we're all like, okay, what are the Islanders without him? And then you see what they make the conference finals, or
Lost to Tampa Bay.
right before the conference finals. So you see, not just Barzell stepping up, everyone stepped up. Not like everyone on that team stepped up. They said, you know what, our star's gone. Let's become the star, and that's exactly what we do without Matthews. And that's exactly what that Kerfoot line does. Like they're just a hardworking line, but now everyone's working like that, and they're just producing that much more.
Yeah, but just to, I just wanted to cut in for a second. The reason the Islanders went from like mediocre or like a good team to a conference finals without Tavares is because of Barry Trotz. His defensive play is perfect for that team. They just don't score as many goals. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Unless it's
and
against
Semyon
the Bruins.
Varlamov.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So that was the first goal, and then there was.
Yeah, the second goal came, I believe, a minute and 13 seconds after.
Right.
And then Marner this
Tavares.
time. That's it. From
Tavares to Marner. Yeah, Tavares. So Thornton to Tavares to Marner.
Yep.
Beautiful shot.
Oh yeah.
Not really much more to say about that play other than Tavares looked really good on it.
Yeah.
And it was a really good finish by Marner, but that's the Tavares that we all know and love. So yeah.
Yeah, and this time it was Tavares setting up Marner instead of Marner setting up Tavares.
Yeah.
But yeah, Marner's looking good with that shooting mentality. Yeah,
Pick
and
this
then
spot.
mhm,
10 goals on the season
yeah, double
right
digits.
now. Not bad.
And then the second period. Now I was actually like blown away by this goal.
I have stuff written down about the second period here.
Okay, so 11 minutes in, Spezza fakes a clapper. Now this was no like just wind
This
up
was
and then slow down.
crazy.
He like that was like some Pavel Barber stuff. He like missed
That
the
was a
puck on purpose, froze Mike Smith, and just wired it.
yeah, that was nuts. That was something that you don't see in hockey nowadays.
Oh
You
yeah.
just don't. That was a pure goalie respected the shooter because he knows Spezza has a crazy slap shot and fell for it. And Spezza put it away with the wrist shot after. That was just nuts.
Well, you thought he was gonna pass it to VC?
Oh, I wanted him to.
Yeah, who's gonna
I
pass
feel
the
bad for
VC?
VC. Yeah.
Yeah, I do feel.
No. I don't think VC deserves to be on the fourth line even. I think he should be in the press box if you ask me. Do you have anything else about the second? Because I have something written down here.
The only other things I have was finally VC gets a point. Again, Campbell was looking good, and then Leafs just capitalizing on their chances. That's it, really.
Okay, so I just have Draisaitl equals scummy / scumbag / dirty. So basically slash poor sport and sore loser. So so he went after Marner like 3 times in the same shift, and it was just you would never see McDavid do that. First of all, you would never see Marner.
That's a stick right out of his hand.
It's different, but yes, that was also scummy. But you would never see
Crosby do that.
Crosby would never do that. You would
Didn't
never
Crosby
see.
Fucking nut check someone?
That was like 10 years ago. Relax.
It's different, man. It's different. He like this guy is just being a sore loser, and I want to go off on Draisaitl, just a little bit, not to shit on him or anything, because he's obviously a good player and he's Eric's favorite player, but he you don't hear his name unless he's on the power play with McDavid or he's on special teams. You don't hear his name. He's kind of just there. He's a big body.
Penalties there?
No, Leafs got no penalties.
Wow, that's pretty good.
So that's another thing about Edmonton is if they don't get a power play, it keeps Draisaitl and McDavid off the ice together. But I don't know. I don't know. Not like Draisaitl's an amazing player, but when you look at that, like you just don't notice him. He had an off game. I guess they all had off games, but I always think that about kind of when we play Edmonton, at least when the Leafs play Edmonton, at least I've always kind of thought like you don't notice Draisaitl unless he's getting set up or he doesn't carry the puck really. He has a good shot. I don't know. He's obviously, yeah. Sorry, just to like reiterate, he's obviously an amazing player. I'm not like putting him down by any means, but like you just don't hear him like a lot. He kind of gets reliable on McDavid, but anyways.
Yeah, he was invisible this game. Is my camera frozen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Were you gonna say something, Jude? I feel like I cut you off.
No, I cut you off.
Okay.
It was more for the I don't know. This is more a like Oilers sided, even though this is a Leafs podcast. There was just someone who I heard a lot of, and that was RNH. I don't know about you guys, but I heard his
I'm sorry if the recording caught that. It was Eric in an Oilers jersey.
God.
Like that was just so classic Eric. He doesn't even own a Leafs jersey, guys. This guy skated in an Oilers jersey that he got specially made with McDavid on the back. Sorry, just continue, Jude. I just had to point that out.
that was a great reason to interrupt. I have no problems with it. But that being said, I did see RNH stand out. I feel like he's adapting to McDavid's style of play. I don't know, just the crossovers, stick handling, and their numbers being similar. It doesn't help. I don't know to differentiate them because I feel like he's really adapting McDavid's play, and I think he's 3 times as noticeable as Draisaitl. And I don't know, people think he's not half the player, but I think
I liked Puyarvi too. I thought he
Yeah.
was in front of the net and getting shots off in space. He's kind of like a Mikheyev to me,
Yeah.
almost, where he gets the chances, he just doesn't finish.
Yeah.
And he's got skill, but he just doesn't use it properly, kind of player. But yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, and just to add on to Jude's point, that's why I picked up Ryan Nugent-Hopkins for fantasy and traded with Felly, because if you looked in the bubble, McDavid had 8 points, or sorry, McDavid had 9 points against Chicago in like 4 games, and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins had 8. So they're both over 2 points per game, and they're playing together on a line regularly.
Our trade was a 1-for-1 trade. It was Nugent Hopkins for Konechny.
It wasn't a
And at
trade.
the
It was a deal. It was a deal.
It was a deal. It was a deal during the draft. Yeah, basically.
We swapped picks.
Yeah, we swapped. Well, he told me to take. No, because I got your. Yeah. We basically swapped picks.
Yeah.
Because you really wanted Nugent Hopkins and I didn't really want him anyway. But I took Konechny instead, and I guess that was it looked good at the time, but
it started
not
off.
right now. Yeah, he started off really hot. I don't know. He's injured, and I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
He has COVID-19, so yeah.
Well, way to kick him in when he's down. Yeah, but...
He does, I think. I'm pretty sure he's on the COVID-19
reserve.
reserve.
He's right.
Yeah, he got injured and he has COVID, so poor guy.
Yeah, anyway. So back to the game. This was the last goal. The fourth goal was Hyman from Muzzin and Engvall. I didn't really catch it, but it just seemed like battle in the corner, hard.
You didn't catch it?
Mike Smith didn't either.
Oh my god. You know what? I was like, wait, did McDavid just get traded to the Leafs mid-game and jump on in a number 11 jersey? Because that's what it looked like.
It was a snipe.
He won a battle in the corner first, walks out, dekes a defenseman. I think it was Darnell Nurse who also had a really terrible game.
Yeah.
And just right over Mike Smith's shoulder. It was a crazy shot while he was moving, while he was falling. That was really quite something. I've never seen Hyman do something like that. He usually scores the garbage goals, tip goals, stuff like that. But that was a great goal, I thought, for Hyman personally. Yeah, for his game.
What I'm trying to convince Felly is Hyman is a good, like, we all know Hyman is a guy. He gets the puck. Sometimes he can do stuff like that, and sometimes he wows you. But most of the time, his job is to get the puck to Matthews Marner. Next year, Edmonton has $20 million of cap space. Okay? The first guy they're going to go after is Hyman. Trust me.
That's so not at all accurate.
Yes.
First of all, Eric, there's an expansion draft that's going to go on in the off season. I don't know if you've heard about it, but there's this team that's in Seattle, and they're coming, and they're trying to take players from every team. Okay, they're trying to take players from every team.
I know that.
The Leafs don't listen. If the Leafs don't sign Hyman, he's going to Seattle. You know that, right? Because Seattle will pick him up in the draft. Because the Leafs won't protect him because his contract is over. Eric, there's no way. The only way he goes to Edmonton is if he signs an extension with the Leafs and then gets traded.
No. Listen.
Yeah, because there's an expansion draft.
The expansion draft is before free agency.
Exactly.
So they're gonna have all their picks. They're not.
They will sign all their picks.
Yes, right. But if they go for Hyman, then they're not gonna pick.
They're not gonna pick someone without having talked to them first.
Yeah. And
saying, "Will you sign with us?" Without giving them a contract offer.
Right, but
because I'm telling you, Edmonton, they're allowed to make negotiations with teams.
Okay.
They're allowed to talk to teams and agents and such, I think. Definitely they're allowed to talk to teams. But what I'm trying to say is Hyman's worth now upwards of $3.5 million, $4 million.
He's gonna want more.
Maybe, but what I'm trying to, like, I guess personally, as a Leafs fan, it's easy to say this, but Hyman is from Toronto. He's played for Toronto for however many years now. He probably wants to stay put, and I'm sure he's willing to take a $500K pay cut to stay put rather than go to a new expansion team in Seattle. I don't think he will ever end up on the Oilers.
Right.
It's kind of weird. I mean, Jude, what do you think? I don't know. Am I going crazy here?
The other point is Hyman, like the Leafs might be in a cap struggle next year, especially if they sign a goalie, right? They might not even be able to re-sign him.
Well, if this is a whole nother podcast once again,
Yeah.
Campbell looks like a starting goalie.
Yeah, I had that. I had that written down.
If they let Andersen walk, which they very well might at this point, looking at Campbell and his situation right now, they just freed up $6 million in cap space, and they have room to sign Hyman because they definitely want to keep him. And they might even just Hyman's 31 years old, 30 years old. He doesn't have much time left.
Is he 30?
So yeah, he's not young.
He looks
basically
young.
He looks young, but he's not, is what I'm trying to say.
All right, well, I'm gonna get a few chirps in here. So
yeah, go ahead, Jude. I wanted to hear your input here about.
Well, at first I was like, yeah, you know what? Felly's just got to face the fact he's one of Felly's favorite players, obviously. Just so much relation.
He's 28,
but
by
I
the
was
way.
like, you know,
Jewish, Markham.
didn't need to say that. No, but just Felly likes him as a player. So I was like, yeah, maybe Felly's just holding on to him. Felly just threw up facts on you, and now there's no going back. I'm on Felly's side for sure. There's so many things to take into consideration. It's not just like, you know what, let's just get Hyman. Sure. Like that's
yeah, and to say that it's just this one team, like only the Oilers are gonna go after him, like no other team.
They have the most cap space. Oilers are gonna make moves next year. Trust me.
No, you know who has the most cap space? Seattle.
Depends who they pick though. If they pick up Jeff Skinner,
they won't. Who would pick up Jeff Skinner?
Because he's a 40 goal scorer.
If they picked up Jeff Skinner, then they should probably drop out of the league before they enter. Like that would not be smart.
All right, and then on terms of the goaltending situation, personally, I think Jack Campbell he's confident, he's smooth, he's fast, like he blows Freddie out of the water in terms of speed. Like those plays that Freddie will, like that Nick Suzuki goal, remember?
Freddie's quite large.
Post and he got remember?
What'd you say, Tyler? I just said Freddie is quite large as a man.
He's a big boy.
Man-wise or wrench-wise?
Okay,
man-wise.
Let's relax here. Let's relax. No, there's no doubt about it. He's a big boy, and that's what he has on Campbell. But Campbell makes up in that speed. And also on top of that, we also save a lot of money with Campbell. And I personally think he's also he's a big part of it. He's a personality in the dressing room. I don't know about you guys, but seeing those smiles on the face after the game, I don't think a single guy was like good game, bro. Like they were all like,
they love him.
Like he's clearly a personality in the dressing room, and I don't think Frederik Andersen's yet to say an English word in the dressing room. That's just my say. Yeah.
That's a good point. And just to go off of Campbell's dressing room presence and everything like that, first of all, I heard Justin Holt talking to the media, and he said that Campbell's the most selfless guy. He could stop a breakaway and thank the defenseman for back checking. Like he's that selfless. Like he'll pat his, like, you could see it this game too if you were watching. Like Muzzin let a guy. Yeah, like Muzzin let a guy walk out of the corner or something, and he stopped it, and then he just tapped Muzzin. He's like, "Good job, man!" Like, or like everything is like, you know, he takes responsibility, and he's like one of those guys. It's like
he's burying Holtby right now in Felly's.
Not to. I was just about to say not to put down Holtby or anything, but Holtby is the complete opposite. Like, you know, it's just like the Leafs have two really good goaltenders right now, and just looking at this year, not looking into the future, it looks good.
Yeah, and
you've got two guys that you can rely on.
Yeah, for sure. And on top of that, I'm pretty sure Felly was the one that one of you brought it up to me, that Binnington's also, obviously that's a very biased to me, but he's not, that wasn't English, but he's a very biased goalie to me. He's not more than Freddie, I know that, and he may be willing to come back home. You don't know that, and you never know. Like if we rolled Binnington and Campbell, bro, I'd be in love.
To be honest, I don't even think I think the Leafs would pursue a guy like that instead of Freddie if they are to go for a goalie in free agency. But honestly, right now, like with the Leafs cap situation and everything, the best bet for them is to sign Hyman to an extension and keep Campbell.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Campbell.
And I think those two moves alone, I think Riley might even be a free agent this year or next year. So not having Andersen under contract would be huge to sign Riley to an extension next year. I think Riley's contract is ending. Hopefully it's not this year, right?
I don't think it's this year.
Okay, because that would be scary. I don't think it is though. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys want to hear a really cool stat about Jack Campbell?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So we all know him as our savior backup goalie on the Leafs.
Mm-hmm.
But did you guys know he is 29 years old and he has only played 64 NHL games?
I did know that.
Yeah, and that's actually crazy because he was drafted in the first round.
Yeah, 11th overall.
Yeah, that's
a big commitment.
That's crazy for a goalie, but he's just been a backup for so long. I think he was obviously drafted to be a starter.
Oh yeah.
Like obviously, and
he was drafted by LA?
No, he was drafted by Dallas, I believe.
Oh, okay. So they had Bishop, or at that time, did they have Bishop?
At that time, I think Bishop would have been on Tampa Bay.
Had Lettinen at that time. Wait.
Yeah,
anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, I think Campbell's grown into coming to the Leafs. I think was the best thing for him, for his career, because he got to be that like backup, and he got to have a really good team in front of him. And for this year, he's gonna have to prove himself that he could potentially be a starter. And like right now, it looks like it, but we can't, we can't say anything too soon. But
I think he's doing just fine. But
yeah, that's basically all I had for notes wise. It was a lot of repeated notes just because I was saying, wow, Tavares is good. Wow, Campbell's insane.
Yeah, and wow, Draisaitl's a scummy / scumbag / dirty /
I don't think Eric wrote that, but I know he definitely wrote it.
Yeah.
Wait, who wrote that? What the heck? Kind of rude.
I thought another underrated player was Brody, but
every game
he was shutting down McDavid like no one's business. So
he's underrated every game. He has a good game every game. Yeah. Honestly, I think he had a bad game the first game of the season. I think he was nervous to be on the Leafs, and he's been shut down ever since. And he's done exactly what he was brought here to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
every single game.
I'm just gonna end.
And he got a nice assist today. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, he did. I'm gonna end it real quick because I think our Zoom meeting is about to end. So thank you guys for watching or listening to the Buds in the Box podcast, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.